Supreme Chancellor Palpatine fooled the entire galaxy for over a decade, but he could not fool a 97-meter reptile. During the Clone Wars, billions of intelligent beings interacted with the Chancellor and never suspected he was a Sith Lord. The Jedi sat across from him in meetings. Senators debated with him for years. Clone officers followed his commands without question. Then an ancient creature pulled from underneath a planet's surface took one look at him and immediately treated him as the most dangerous thing in the room. The real explanation is stranger than most people assume. It starts on Malastare, a fuel-rich planet the Republic badly needed during the war. The Separatists were on the verge of claiming it, and without the fuel reserves on Malastare, the Republic's armies would grind to a halt. Palpatine personally authorizes an untested superweapon called the Electro-Proton Bomb against the Separatist droid army on the surface. The bomb works as intended. It annihilates the droid forces in a single blast. The detonation also tears open a massive sinkhole, swallowing clone troopers and equipment into the ground. From deep underneath the surface, something that had been dormant for centuries wakes up. The Zillo Beast, a creature the native Dugs believed to be long extinct, climbs out of the crater and tears through everything around it. The Dugs had all warnings about this species. The Zillo Beast species had a long history on Malastare, once dominant enough to prey on the Dugs' earliest ancestors before the fuel harvest drove them underground. When the Dugs began harvesting fuel from the planet's core, the creatures started dying off and were eventually thought to be gone entirely. The Dugs never forgot. Their ancient lore predicted that one would return someday and destroy their entire civilization. For them, this was not just another predator. It was a threat that had shaped their laws, their fears, and their relationship with their own planet for generations. Mace Windu and Anakin Skywalker both fight the creature directly, and during the battle, Anakin discovers that his lightsaber cannot cut through the beast's armor. Nothing in the Republic arsenal works. Even concentrated fire from stun tanks barely slows the creature down, and it takes a sustained barrage to finally knock it unconscious. The Republic captures it. At that moment, the Chancellor's interest shifts completely. Up to this point, Palpatine had called the creature one of no importance and urged Windu to help the Dugs kill it for the fuel treaty. But the moment he hears the armor is lightsaber-proof, the future Emperor reverses course. He orders the creature's ship to Coruscant for study. Windu objects, but the Chancellor overrides him. His interest was entirely military, lightsaber-proof armor for ships and troops. Bringing the creature to Coruscant was the Chancellor's decision, and it would turn out to be one of the only decisions in his career that backfired. On Coruscant, the beast is sedated, restrained, and placed under the supervision of Dr. Cianver Ball. During a lab visit, the Chancellor watches as Ball explains that removing the creature's scales for study would cause it extreme pain. His response is immediate. He asks whether it would be simpler to kill the beast outright. Dr. Ball pushes back. In her view, the creature may actually be intelligent, and it is the last of its species. Sidious rejects her concern entirely, calling it just an animal. The beast fixes its eyes on Palpatine and growls directly at him with such focused hostility that even Ball steps back. Palpatine doesn't stop at suggesting the kill. When Ball hesitates, he threatens to replace her with someone who will get it done. Ball follows the order and administers a small dose of poison gas made from Malastarian fuel. Instead of dying, the creature becomes agitated, snaps its restraints, and smashes its way out of the laboratory, rushing clone troopers and tearing through walls on its way to the surface. The Zillo Beast does not behave like a panicked animal. A frightened creature would attack whatever was closest or run for open ground. The beast does neither. As it tears through Coruscant, it sees the Chancellor's face broadcast on holographic view screens across the city. The creature heads straight for the Senate building and the Chancellor's office after seeing his image on those holograms. When the Chancellor evacuates aboard an emergency shuttle, the beast follows. C-3PO picks up on it first. Something is following them. The creature catches the shuttle, and instead of crushing the entire ship, it reaches specifically for Palpatine with its hand. A Senate commando dies shielding the Emperor from the grab. Meanwhile, Mace Windu, the Jedi who helped capture the beast on Malastare, is actively fighting it during the rampage. The beast never looks at him. Its focus never shifts from the Chancellor. Republic gunships eventually fire flares to redirect the beast's attention just long enough to deploy gas bombs into its mouth. Even in its final moments, the creature had to be tricked into looking away from its target. It dies confused and in pain in the rooftop of the Senate building. Nearly everyone treated the Zillo Beast as a dangerous but mindless animal. Only Dr. Ball raised the possibility that the creature might be intelligent, and she was overruled within minutes. Yet within the next 60 seconds, the supposedly simple creature displays a chain of purposeful behaviors that instinct alone struggles to explain. The beast appeared to react to spoken words in the lab. While injured, disoriented, and surrounded by threats, it recognized Palpatine's image, navigated an unfamiliar city, tracked his moving shuttle, and selected him from thousands of nearby people. Any single one of those actions, taken alone, could be explained as coincidence or instinct. Taken together, they look a lot more like the behavior of a thinking creature. The species has been described as potentially sentient, with eyes that hint at its larger intelligence. The creature moved with surprising grace for its size, using 5 limbs and 3-fingered claw-like hands. Its body was built for precision as much as brute force. Years later, a different specimen shows the same kind of purposeful behavior. In the canon animated TV series Bad Batch, Clone Force 99 discovers a crashed Imperial research vessel containing a clone juvenile Zillo Beast. The creature had already killed and eaten the entire crew. After escaping the wreckage, it didn't wander randomly. It heads specifically for a nearby village's power grid and begins feeding on electricity to fuel its rapid growth. With all of that established, the Beast's pursuit of Palpatine has a plausible explanation, one that doesn't require any connection to the Force. Every step of the creature's suffering traces directly back to one man's decisions. The Chancellor authorized the bomb, ordered the capture, demanded the experiments, and gave the kill command. If the Beast was even partly intelligent, it had more than enough reason to single out Palpatine as its primary target. Nevertheless, that rational explanation has a gap, and it is not a small one. If you want to see more breakdowns like this one, a quick subscribe means you will always be first to know. Many people were involved in the Beast's capture and captivity. Windu personally helped subdue it on Malastare. Clone troopers physically restrained it during transport. Ball ran the experiments and administered the poison that triggered its escape. Yet the Beast ignored every single one of them and focused only on Palpatine. If it was only tracking the chain of command, the person whose voice gave the orders, other figures should have drawn at least some of its aggression. They didn't draw so much as a glance. Its biology may have included senses that humans and Jedi simply do not possess. Those same traits could have allowed it to detect something chemical or behavioral in Palpatine that neither group could perceive. Another possibility is that it sensed the dark side itself, although no canon source confirms or denies that interpretation. The ambiguity is precisely what has kept the story alive for decades. The Beast is dead on the Senate rooftop, killed by the same fuel that once drove its species underground. Yet Palpatine's response to the entire incident follows a pattern that raises its own questions. Once the Beast arrives on Coruscant, he doesn't ask for more time, more research, or a less destructive method. He orders its execution immediately. Before the kill order goes through, Senator Amidala and Anakin Skywalker visit the Chancellor to argue for the creature's life. Padme challenges him directly, arguing that killing the last of a species behind closed doors cannot serve anyone's interests. The Chancellor pivots to wartime casualties, framing the kill order as a moral duty owed to the troops dying on the front lines, and reduces the entire debate to a simple trade: one creature's life against stronger armor. Anakin refuses to take a side, caught between Padme's moral argument and the Chancellor's wartime logic. Sidious rewards the neutrality with a small compliment about Kenobi's training, a subtle reminder of who shaped Anakin's thinking. Then, after the Beast is dead and the Jedi are mourning its loss, the Sith Lord tells them publicly that he will make sure the creature's sacrifice was not in vain. Privately, moments later, he gives Dr. Bull a single new order: clone it. That is the final shot of the episode. The Beast kept refusing. Tech traces the cloning directive and confirms it leads all the way back to Palpatine's time as Supreme Chancellor, before he ever became Emperor. The juvenile Zillo Beast that escaped the crashed research vessel was a product of that order. Omega grew up surrounded by Kaminoan science on Kamino. She recognizes the cloning equipment aboard the ship, but notes that the configuration is different from anything she saw there. Tech discovers designs for modified armor plating built from the creature's genetic material. The research served a weapons program from the beginning. After the creature escapes and reaches the nearby power grid, it grows to enormous size within minutes. The Empire responds with 3 Star Destroyers and a specialized sonic weapon to knock it unconscious. Imperial clone commandos seal the creature inside a containment tank and detain every civilian who saw it. The official report to Dr. Hemlock classified the witnesses as a problem to be dealt with. Despite the total suppression of information, the project continued. The cloning order should have died with the Republic, but Imperial scientists kept the project running well into the new regime, and the results were worse every time. On at least one occasion, a modified Zillo Beast crash-landed on the planet Scylla and immediately began hunting for power sources, devouring energy conduits and consuming an entire solar farm. Every attempt to weaponize or control the species followed the same cycle: capture, containment failure, destruction, and recapture. The Sith could manipulate the Jedi, the Senate, the clone army, and entire star systems. They could not control one species. Nobody in the Republic ever stopped to ask why the beast had ignored every other person who heard it, and gone straight for the one hiding the most. Whether the Zillo Beast sensed the Sith Lord or simply recognized the man responsible for its suffering remains unresolved, and it is far from the only creature in Star Wars that breaks the rules. There are species across the galaxy with abilities that shouldn't be possible, so watch this video to find out.